We're in a burnout epidemic. People are saying yes to everything, more meetings, more projects, more responsibilities, because they're afraid of being seen as uncommitted, especially in this climate of layoffs and restructuring. But here's what's happening. Saying yes to everything means you're actually saying no to what really matters. Whether in a leadership role or not having boundaries compromises your effectiveness. It's those of us who can't say no to unrealistic demands who pile more on ourselves or our teams without removing anything, who mistake being helpful for being effective. The most successful people I've worked with, and I mean truly successful, not just busy, who've mastered the art of strategic no. They protect their time, their energy, and their teams. And in a world where everyone is overwhelmed and distracted, this skill is your competitive advantage. Let me show you just how to do it without apologizing. Why do people have such a hard time saying no? It can be no but stop saying yes when you don't mean it. I've talked about people-pleasing tendencies and the need to be liked. These behaviors undermine leadership effectiveness. Saying no in the workplace is an important skill that helps you maintain boundaries, prioritize tasks, and assert your own needs and limitations. Watch and learn to say no with a smile. Hi, I'm Jenny Clark, a conscious leadership expert who spent 2 decades in executive recruiting and talent management. Having worked with giants like Google, Spencer Stuart, I discovered that the secret to transformative leadership lies in the 5 dimensions of conscious leadership. And I'm here to help you unlock your full potential. Join me on this channel as we embark on an honest and vulnerable journey together to become the kind of leader that genuinely inspires organizational transformation. I have a few ways you can get involved in this conscious community. First, I've created a free career map to help you uncover your next career move. Second, I've created exclusive content for you with a community of like-minded leaders. And lastly, I send out a free newsletter every week. To learn more, check out the description of this video. When I joined the global search firm Spencer Stuart in the late 90s, I was the first African-American consultant, recruiter, to join the Chicago office, which was also the corporate headquarters. I was the only person of color for that matter, and the only woman with a child. I had a lot to learn and to deal with personally. My son had just turned 1. My mother died of lung cancer 1 month after joining, and 6 months after I started, I asked my husband for a divorce. Having said all that, I was excited to be with one of the largest and most well-regarded search firms in the world. In my early days, several of my colleagues approached me and said they had clients who were interested in diversity and wanted to introduce me to them. I was fine with that as I needed as much exposure as I could get, but that wasn't all. Several of these colleagues suggested that I form a diversity practice, and I thought about it. I spoke to a couple of colleagues of varying time with the firm, white and black, male and female. I rather quickly decided to say no to forming a diversity practice. I think a few people were surprised. Typically, when you join a firm, you want to say yes to everything, right? To appear as a team player. However, in my case, I knew that would be a mistake. Here are my reasons. I didn't know enough. I'd never been in professional services organization to deal with a practice, and this would be a different animal since other practices were aligned across industry sectors. By that I mean industrial, consumer, healthcare, or functional, chief marketing officers, chief financial officers, CEOs. This would be about identifying more women and people of color to include as candidates for our clients. I understood a lot about diversity as a black woman with 10 plus years of corporate experience at that point. But this was something different that I'm not so sure that those making the ask understood that well. I needed to build a foundation. Before I would consider running a practice, I needed to learn the business of recruiting at this level. The firm had robust mandatory training, and I took a lot of time in the first year, and I needed to use the rest of my time putting that training to use. That is, executing searches with seasoned partners. I had to be a credible recruiter before I'd be credible as a practice leader. That also meant I needed to generate business and meet financial targets. My personal life was in flux. Losing my mother was devastating, and I'd lost my dad only a few years before. My son was young, and I knew divorce was imminent. I had to consider the implications of being a single mother with no real support system locally. I explained the first two reasons to my colleagues, but didn't offer the third. That would become apparent as people got to know me. I also offered to meet clients and support some of their unique needs on certain searches. That would serve me well if I did decide to build the practice. I did understand client considerations and realistic expectations for diverse pools of candidates. At the end of my second year with the firm, I agreed to co-found the practice with another African-American woman colleague in another office. We had started at the same time, became good friends, had different but complementary skills. We ran the practice together for 5 years, after which time she took on other responsibilities in the firm. I became the sole head for the practice for the next 5 years until I decided to leave the firm to write my book. The moral of this story is, do what works for you. Consider the long game. My no didn't mean no never. I'm pretty sure that my initial decision gave some of my colleagues confidence that I would be a thoughtful practice leader because I considered not just their needs, but my own capacity, as well as my career and personal objectives. So here are some workplace lessons on how you can say no effectively. Set clear boundaries. Consistently establish clear boundaries for your time, your energy, and your workload. Understand your capacity and what you can realistically handle. This means putting yourself first, which, by the way, doesn't mean you're selfish. It means you know how to protect yourself and your interests. Practice assertiveness, not aggressiveness. Understand that saying no doesn't have to be confrontational or negative. You can be assertive and polite in your refusal. An assertive no conveys your point without damaging relationships or causing unnecessary conflict. People will learn to respect you without fearing you. For those who can't respect your decision, you might have to wonder if they're the ones with selfish interests. Offer alternatives or solutions when saying no. Consider proposing alternatives or solutions. This shows your willingness to help, even if you can't fulfill the initial request. If you can't be at that meeting, it could be the perfect opportunity to send a team member who could use the chance to shine. Communicate your reasons. Often helpful to explain why you're saying no. This provides context and helps others understand your decision. And remember, you don't always have to apologize. I'm of a mind that says, I don't owe you anything. Might sound harsh, but think about it. Most of the time, each of us has the right to choose. Your ask is not necessarily my obligation. I think my story about starting the diversity practice at Spencer Stuart illustrated that. Avoid overcommitment. Saying yes to everything can lead to overcommitment and burnout. Learn to say no to protect your time and well-being. And don't just think about the immediate ask, but the prep time, the ongoing commitment of time or other resources that ask might include. Here's what I want you to take away. Remember that saying no is a valuable skill that can enhance your effectiveness and well-being in the workplace. It's not about being negative or uncooperative, but about making thoughtful choices that align with your priorities and responsibilities. I know firsthand how taking that first step can be the catalyst for a life-changing transformation. I remember the moment I decided to harness my own strengths, and it made all the difference in my career. That's why I've created a career mapping tool just for you to help you uncover your unique competencies and leverage them to design your own career map. Take the first step towards your next level by clicking the link in the video description, and let's start this incredible journey together.